Today on Riffs, Beards, and Gear, we talk about some crazy price hikes in the guitar world. So every time I do a ridiculous reverb listing video, I go through the emails and what you guys submit to me as, listings that you think are ridiculous for whatever reason. It could be a silly thing. It could be just a crazy price, whatever. But there's been a shift over the past, year, 6 months, somewhere in between there. The ridiculous listings that I am sent are more and more just becoming just regular guitar gear. And I'm noticing this interesting shift of, obviously we all know that prices of everything have gone up, but there are some pieces of gear that I keep seeing that have just gotten nuts, and I thought we would talk about them. So I have cherry picked 7 different pieces of gear to kind of talk about and go over, and I will be utilizing a graph, a price history, a sold price history from reverb.com to kind of illustrate my point. So let's get started, shall we? Guitar gear number 1, the Peavey 5150. Now, I have mentioned this many times on the channel. The prices of Peavey 5150s went bonkers right after the untimely passing of EVH. That's not totally unexpected, but what happened was they just kind of seemed to stay there for a long time. And they've only recently started to kind of come down a little bit. But as you would see on the graph, for a long time, you could get a Peavey 5150 up until March 2020 for about $750. Then they just went through the roof. I think this was also a combination of internet hype as well. But, you could find them for $1,500, $2,000, $2,500 or more, depending on, the shape and age of the particular amp. Now, recently, as of late October 2021, they seem to have come down a little bit. So now you can find these, in the $1,200, $1,250, $1,300 range. But still, these were $750, just over a year ago. Pretty crazy. Piece of guitar gear number 2 that's just gone through the roof in the last year or so is the Ibanez TS10 tube screamer. I keep getting sent listings of seemingly crazily priced Ibanez TS10 tube screamers. Now, the TS10's main claim to fame, I would say, is, Stevie Ray Vaughan used it. And rightfully so. It's a great sounding pedal. A buddy of mine has one. And funny story, he bought his about a year and a half ago. And at that time, he paid $250 for it. And I told him he was out of his mind. But he really wanted one because he had one as a kid. And he found a pretty clean one. And he paid $250 for it a year and a half ago. I thought he was absolutely out of his mind. Now, they are selling for over $500 in most cases, between $400 and $500, depending on condition, of course. However, this pedal has skyrocketed. Maybe this is, maybe Josh Scott on the JHS channel mentioned it or something. I don't know. I don't know what's happening with these pedals, but these just keep going up and up and up with no end in sight. Guitar gear number 3, the Mesa JP-2C. Now, these didn't sell well upon initially launching a few years back. They were a very expensive amp. They still are a very expensive amp. I think they retail for like $2,799, $2,800 currently as of 2021. These are going on the used market for, in some cases, like $5,000. I saw a listing, not that they're selling for $5,000, but people are asking $4,000 to $5,000 for the Mesa JP-2C, with reverb recording sales as high as $3,700. That's crazy. And as of filming this today, right now, in late October 2021, Sweetwater just got their stock replenished of JP-2Cs, and you can buy one brand new for $27.99. Meanwhile, people are buying them off of Reverb for $3,500 or more dollars. That's pretty crazy to me. Guitar gear number 5, you guys know this was going to be on the list, the Tom DeLonge Fender Strat. Now, I bought a Fender Strat at the very beginning of COVID, like in mid-2020, something like that. I paid $1,200 for my very, very clean Tom DeLonge. It has one little boo-boo on the body, but other than that, it is totally mint. I paid $1,250 for it. And I thought, oh man, I'm going to regret this. I do not regret it a year and a half later. These are going for over $2,500 on the regular. That's unbelievable. And the yellow ones are going for even more than that in some cases, the yellow being very, very rare color. But the Sonic Blue variants and a couple of the other color variants go for a little bit less, but still the whole guitar model is just climbing and climbing and climbing. Pretty crazy. Guitar gear number 5 is the Peavey Decade. Now this has an interesting, slightly interesting story. This was I would call it a long lost, forgotten Peavey combo from the 80s. And recently, Josh Homme from Queens of the Stone Age mentioned that it was his secret weapon for the Queens of the Stone Age stuff. He uses it all over the records for various things, guitars, bass, whatever. And all of a sudden, those amps have gone through the roof. Now, forever, up until June 2021, they traditionally sold on Reverb for about $50, and now they're going for over $400. Thanks, Josh. Guitar gear number 6 are Norlin era Les Pauls, specifically Silverbusrt. I've talked about these before on Ridiculous Reverb listings. Now, this graph in particular is just for 70s Norlin Les Pauls. This does not drill down into just Silverbusrt, but I can tell you that even as recent as 4 or 5 years ago, Silverbusrt could be had for $3,000 or so. You know, they were a cool guitar, but there wasn't the super hype about them until Adam Jones released his signature model that cost $10,000. And then all of a sudden, all of the other old guitars are commanding $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 price tags used on Reverb. That's pretty nuts. And they seem to be holding their price. But yeah, these are 70s Les Pauls. I mean, they're not crazy amazing by any stretch of the imagination. However, yeah, one signature model changed the world for all the Silverbusrt Les Paul owners. And finally, guitar gear number 7, the Klon KTR. Now, a lot of people miss that the Klon KTR is still in production. It's still being made today. I bought mine brand new about 6 months ago for, I think I paid $260 for it, which is basically retail, right? These regularly go for $800 or $900 on Reverb just because they're so damn hard to find. That's it. They're still being made. They're just, people want something right now, so they're willing to pay for it, I guess. But these are going through the roof in price, even though they're still made and are of current production. But you can see on the Reverb graph, these are selling for over $800 now. That's pretty nuts. Now, lots of things, like I said at the top of the video, are going up in price, and you can see examples of all this guitar gear and musical equipment just going through the roof for various reasons. I just thought it's pretty interesting because I have even been contacted about some of my rectifiers and people offering me crazy amounts of money for some of my early revision rectifiers. Like, rectifiers also deserve an honorable mention as well. But yeah, those are some of the crazy price fluctuations of some of the guitar gear that I've noticed recently. If you have your own guitar gear that's been just going nuts in price, please leave them down below in the comments. I would love to hear what you guys are seeing out there as well. All the clickable links down below in the description. You've been wonderful. I've been Fluff. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. If you liked the video you just watched, please consider subscribing. And if you want to further support me and what I do, consider using some of the affiliate links down below in the description of this video. Go on over to Sweetwater, buy yourself something, and help me out at the same time. It's a win-win for both of us.